Alright, so what I want to speak about today is something or a topic that I don't think has actually been spoken enough recently. And it's got to do with one of the sort of minority parties within the UK, as there really just hasn't been much news from them. And I think it is quite concerning for that party as a whole, and that is the Liberal Democrats. At the last election, they achieved their highest number of seats since their formation, really, at 72, which was only, 40 off being the opposition government, and was also quite unprecedented when you consider that there wasn't much talk about them before the election, and weren't many predictions that would put them on that amount of seats, really. And then they managed to achieve it, which was obviously a great achievement for them. But I think we need to sort of address how they've sort of plateaued at this level and don't seem to be progressing very much in terms of popularity or voting intention in general. I want to talk about where that's coming from and what they can do about it. My name is Alex on Politics. This is my longer form content YouTube channel, a bit different from my politics where I just obviously make longer videos. So make sure you go follow my TikTok as well and like this video if you enjoy it. And I'm going to start off with the Liberal Democrats membership numbers, which it's fair to say in the last few years haven't really done or got any better. For example, I think about 5 years ago, they had about, close to 90,000 paid members, and now they're down to 60,000, which is weird considering that they haven't really done much to warrant, a 30% loss in members. They've been pretty, to be fair, non-existent. Maybe that's a reason why. Losing 30% of their members, coming into another general election isn't a good thing for them. In terms of voting intention, at one point earlier this year, they were looking like the party that could contest Labour as the party on the left and ones that could go against reform. They had a bit of a boost in voting intention across all of the polls, but then that sort of plateaued and is now dipping again, as with the Green rise, which is something that probably should worry them when you consider that they're trying to say that they are the anti-reform. But then again, no one seems to be actually believing that because no one's choosing to vote for them. And I think that you combine that with their drop in membership numbers, and it's opening up a big problem for them now because they're just not getting the attention that they want or they need for them to actually try and challenge for more seats and actually move towards being a major party. And I think one of the main reasons for this is the fact that they are just not really active when it comes to, policy or media, etc. For example, since the general election, I don't think they've announced a single policy, maybe one or two minor policies. Whereas if you look at, obviously the polling leaders right now, Reform are announcing policies all the time. They're preparing for the next 5 years, albeit whether you agree with them or not, they are at least announcing what they want to do if they were to be in government. And I think the Lib Dems, they sort of just sit around and complain about reform and Elon Musk and stuff like that, and they're not really showing the UK why they should vote for them. They're basically just saying, vote for us because we're not the other parties, which in itself isn't necessarily a good reason. The great opportunity for them would have been the Online Safety Act, which, I mean, if they're calling themselves the Liberal Democrats, they would probably want to oppose that because obviously it takes away everyone's personal freedoms on the internet. And I think that would have been a great opportunity for them to actually go against the government and become the front runners in the fight against the Online Safety Act, which was a very big story for a while. And they could have taken that by the horns and actually shown that they're the opposition for that. I think that they spend too much time sort of targeting other political parties in the UK rather than actually focusing on themselves. I get it. I find it funny when Ed Davey is making fun of Elon Musk or Nigel Farage. We can all have a good laugh about it. But at the same time, if they want to be a proper, serious party that people are going to look towards as oh, okay, they are going to fix this country. They are going to do what they say they're going to do. They need to be more proactive when it comes to actually challenging things rather than just making fun of someone. I think another reason why a lot of people are turned off by them is because they vote with whoever's in power quite a lot. With the last Conservative government, they voted with them loads of times, especially after the coalition. They were still voting with them on a lot of policies, and they voted with the Labour government on a few policies as well so far. And I think it just comes across as though they are just a party that helps and agrees with whoever's in power at that time. And they're not necessarily their own party with their own views, their own morals, ideology. It puts a lot of people off and they think that, oh, why am I voting for the Liberal Democrats if they're just going to do the same thing as whoever wins the election? Albeit, I don't think that the media has helped their case at all. They don't get much attention at all. They don't get invited onto, you know, Question Time or many mainstream media interviews, as opposed to smaller parties like Reform, who have, you know, 18 times less MPs than they do, but they still get more airtime. They were at a point a few months ago where they looked like they could be on the rise as the party to potentially replace Labour on the left and actually challenge Reform. Obviously, that spot has now been taken. It's pretty clear it's been taken by the Green Party, which has shown how well they've done it, as opposed to how badly the Liberal Democrats dealt with that situation. I mean, the Green Party have been flooding the zone. They've been getting on as many media platforms as possible. They've been saying what they would want to do and actually using the reasons why and challenging other policies. And I think that the Lib Dems really lost out this year on a serious opportunity to actually become a much more important party rather than just a protest vote for any lost Conservative or anti-reform voters. But there's nothing to say that in the next few years that they won't go back or start coming on the rise again. At the end of the day, the next general election is probably going to be about four, maybe just under 4 years away, and anything can happen in British politics. At the end of the day, I don't think they expected to have such a rise when, towards the end of the last election, when they ended up winning 70 seats. There will be still opportunities, but I just want to say that, like, this hasn't been spoken about that much, how little that we've seen from the Lib Dems, how, like, sort of invisible they've become with this whole Zach Polanski surge since the last election. Well, since this summer, that they just haven't made any moves, and it's been quite weird because, you know, coming off the back of your best electoral win ever, you'd probably want to, you know, keep up your momentum and start challenging and actually moving up through the polls and everything. But they just haven't done that, and they seem to have plateaued. I think if they start properly challenging government policies, releasing their own, flooding the zone on independent media as well, which is becoming proper influential, especially when you look at, like, America, or even Zach Polanski's got his own podcast now, and they can actually start building their new brand and explaining why they won 70 seats, why they want to win more, what they're going to do if they become into government, how they're going to challenge this current government. I think if they start doing that, it's not too late, but at the end of the day, like, they are now going to be competing with the Green Party at the same time. They didn't have to if they had actually taken that opportunity when it first came to them. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say today for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. And yeah, make sure to follow my TikTok as well. We're nearly at 2,000 followers on there and nearly at 300 subscribers here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.